Let's now get to know about the difference between two other quantifiers, much and many. Okay, much is used with uncountable nouns. You should understand, students, with uncountable nouns. It is mainly used in negative and interrogative. It is mainly, not always. Okay, used with negative and interrogative clauses. How do you express a negative thought, or how do you express negative sentences? By using not there, the word not, or no, or none. There are many words that expresses negations or the negativity of the sentence, negative sentence. For example, how much money have you got? Here it's interrogative clauses, isn't it? When we said much can be used with interrogative sentences. How much money have you got? There's a question mark to tell you that it's an interrogative sentence. Much money. Much sits before the noun money. Money is uncountable noun, and therefore much is a determiner. Comes under the quantifier category, and it is also a determiner. We didn't spend much money. Again, we did not spend. Not tells about negation or the negative sentence. Much money. Much again is a determiner here because it sits before the noun money, which is uncountable. So there are a few more examples that are listed. You can just go through that. Coming to many. Many is used with countable nouns, children. As against much, many is used with countable nouns. It is used again in questions like that of much only. It is used in interrogative sentences, affirmative sentences, as well as negations or negative sentences. I do not have many friends. Okay. There are too many disadvantages in this business. How many children? Again, many poor people. So here you can see many as being used with countable nouns. Friend, disadvantages, children, people. So all these are nouns that can be countable, isn't it? So that is why you've used the quantifier many before the noun. What noun? Countable nouns, and therefore they are determiners. Here there are three quantifiers given: no, none, none of. So we need to know how to use them. As told earlier, not all quantifiers act as determiners. To term a quantifier as a determiner, what is the condition, students? That they should modify a noun and it should sit before the noun. So let's see how these three act as when it comes to the question whether they are determiners. No. If you take the word no, yes, it is a quantifier. It tells about the quantity. But does it sit before the noun? Yes. The word no always sits before the noun. For example, there was no bus today, so I walked. No bus. No is a quantifier. It tells about the measure of the bus quantity. Okay, how many buses? Okay, no, zero bus today. So it tells about some measure and it sits before the noun bus, and therefore it is a quantifier as well as a determiner. The second example also shows no stores. Were no stores open today? No stores. No is telling more about the stores, modifying the noun stores, and it also says there was no stores open. Okay, somebody is asking, were no stores open today? So none of the stores were open there, and therefore no is a quantifier as well as a determiner because it sits before the noun stores. Please go through the rest of the examples given under that category. Let's move on to the next quantifier, none. None is not like no. None doesn't sit before a noun. It stands independent. It doesn't require a noun. I drank all the coffee. There is none left. So here none is not being followed by a noun, and therefore it is a quantifier but cannot be termed as a determiner. I was looking for love but I found none. So none again stands alone. Doesn't sit before a noun. Therefore it is a quantifier but not a determiner. Let's look at none of. So none of can appear in the following places, like before the noun. Okay, the plus noun, before this or that, before the a pronoun, or before a possessive, meaning a possessive determiner. Look at the examples given for each. None of the students took the test. So the students talks about the noun there, isn't it? None of this is your fault. So here this, when you say this, that this talks about something, some subject there, isn't it? None of us, again a pronoun. Us is a personal pronoun and none of sits before the personal pronoun there. None of his friends. His again is a possessive determiner because his tells about the possession or the belonging of the noun friends there. So none of sits before the possessive pronoun his. So these are the places where you use none of. Hope you understood, students. There is always a confusion as to what is the difference between few, a few. Where will we use this? Where will we use few? Where will we use a few? Where are the places you use little and where are the places you use a little? You know very well few and a few goes with countables and little and a little goes with uncountable nouns. Now, do we use a little or little? There's a confusion. Do we use few or a few? Let's see. A few and a little describes the quantity in a positive manner. A few, a little. It gives you a positive feel when you read the sentence. There you use a few. When you want to express in a negative way, then you use few and little. For example, I have got a few friends. Now here the whole sentence tells you, gives you a positive approach to the sentence, isn't it? Attribute, positive attribute to the sentence. I have a few friends. So that's something positive. So the second one, I have got a little money. See, I've got enough money to do something. So that is a positive thing. Of course, it is little. It's not like you have so much, but still that little is enough for the survival sort of. So it's a positive thing that you have in the case scenario where there is no money and you have little money, which is positive, little. So a little money tells you about the positive attribute there. I have got enough to live on. That is the meaning you're getting. And in the case where few and little are used, you use it in a negative way to describe the quantity. For example, few people visited him in the hospital. Meanings, you expected many people, but only very few came. That is a disappointment, isn't it? So almost none, sort of. Very, very few. So that's a negative attribute to the sentence. Second example, he had little money. Here, little means he did not have enough money to do some task, to do something. Almost no money, sort of. So a little means I have something enough to survive on. He's pretty happy, positive. He had little money means it is not enough to do something. So children, you understood the difference between where you use a few, a little and few and little. This chart shows where do you use these quantifiers with the countable nouns or uncountable nouns. Little is used with uncountable nouns. You cannot use them with countable nouns. We have seen this in the earlier slides also, isn't it? Few, the quantifier few is used with countable nouns. It doesn't go with uncountable nouns. A lot of, this phrase as a quantifier can be used with both countables and uncountables. Okay, means a large number of, a large amount of. Number means countable, amount means we are trying to refer to uncountables. Many, of course, it goes only with countables. Much goes only with uncountables. Any, lots of and some, all the three goes with both countables and uncountables. So that was all about quantifiers and how few quantifiers act as determiners and how few cannot be termed as determiners as they don't sit before the noun. So you've learned about quantifiers now. We have listed the quantifiers that can be used with countables, uncountables, and nouns, and those quantifiers that can be used with both. So now you have to do this assignment. First identify the nouns and then you will find out whether they fall under the countable category or the uncountable category. Then use appropriate quantifiers. So I will give the answers for this in tomorrow's session. Thank you, children. Meet you in the next session.